my brother was a big influence on me when it comes to lowriders. I remember my dad had handed him down a 65 Impala, and my brother wired it down. Well, the next thing he wanted to do was put hydraulics on it, and my dad said, "No, you ain't gonna touch the suspension on that. If you want to do something like that, if you want to destroy the car, you're gonna have to go buy one yourself and do it." So sure enough, back I remember my brother was working, and in '79 he went to a Camino Real Chevrolet and pulled out a brand new Monte Carlo, and I couldn't believe what he did next. He actually went to the house, paper plates, picked up my dad. He told me, "Hey, all we got to do is take off the front shocks." And I go, "What are you gonna do?" He goes, "I'm going to the muffler shop. I'm gonna take my dad to see it get cut out." And and he did.
What's happening, everybody? This is the Wired Down Show. I am Joe Ray. We are going to get in deep into the Impalas by Chevrolet today. We have Frank Melendez is our guest. From A to Z, I mean, these cars, they used to be affordable. Our parents used to be able to afford them. That was a family car. Grocery shopping, got too old, can't drive no more, kicked them down to the kids. Kids turned them into lowriders. And now they're up to $350,000. We're going to get into all those favorite years of these classics. This is the man when it comes to expertise, Frank Melendez. Say hello to everybody, Frank.
Hi, my name is Frank Melendez. I've been actually working on cars for 40 plus years. And boy, everybody can tell the market has it's a different ball game out there from when we started.
From where we started the ball game, where do you come from? Where are you from?
East LA. I grew up in East LA, born in LA. Started with cars because of my dad. My dad was a mechanic. I remember him bringing in 62 wagons, just different Impalas coming in, and he would work on them on the weekends. He had a regular job, 9 to 5. But that's where I started getting
He
my...
would just bring them on home?
Yeah, he would bring them home and work on them for guys, his friends and whatnot. But that's where I started appreciating some of the cars. Even at a young age, he had me, having clean parts. He wouldn't let me touch no wrenches. And my dad, he was a pretty strict individual, and he liked to do things a certain way.
From here? Was he from here originally?
No, he was from Sonora, Mexico.
Old-fashioned Mexican ways,
Old-fashioned,
right?
yeah.
When you talk old school?
Yes, sir.
Very strict. That's a good upbringing for you.
Very strict. It is and it's not, Joe.
It is and it's not. Is he one of the major influencers in your life?
Yes, in my life.
Because that's what you do now, right?
Yes, exactly.
Take things apart, put them back together the right way.
Right. I went to Garfield High School. I took automotive. Right after I graduated from high school, I went to LA Trade Tech, got my associated degree in automotive. So it's always been about automotive. And I think I had no other choice, but that's all I saw as I was growing up. And my brother was a big influence on me when it comes to lowriders. As far as I remember my dad had handed him down a 65 Impala, and my brother wired it down. Well, the next thing he wanted to do was put hydraulics on it, and my dad said, "No, you ain't gonna touch the suspension on that. If you want to do something like that, if you want to destroy the car, you're gonna have to go buy one yourself and do it." So sure enough, back I remember my brother was working, and in '79 he went to a Camino Real Chevrolet and pulled out a brand new Monte Carlo, and I couldn't believe what he did next. He actually went to the house, paper plates, picked up my dad. He told me, "Hey, all we got to do is take off the front shocks." And I go, "What are you gonna do?" He goes, "I'm going to the muffler shop. I'm gonna take my dad to see it get cut out." And and he did.
So he rebelled. He's just revolting, huh?
Yes, he did. And that was I actually helped him. Him and I, we lifted that Monte Carlo. And back then, using the Ortiz hydraulics, that was around back then. And I still remember to this day, man. I just seen that look on my dad when their torch came out and they're cutting out the hose.
What did your dad do next? Did he torture you?
No, he didn't. No. But my brother told him, hey, remember, you said it's my car. I could do whatever I want to do with it. And that's how I went down.
That's funny how our parents are when, you grow up and you replace the toys with a real deal. You need a job and you need to afford a car, whatever it may be when you start off going to high school or whatever. But to grab a brand new car like that, a Camino Real Chevrolet, and then because your dad tells you, hey, do that
That's
to your own
exactly
car. When you can afford one, you could do. And those are values that we're brought up with, right? Those are the
correct.
facts of life our parents
Correct.
bring down. My dad was like that too. My dad worked hard, super hard, but for some reason, coming in from Missouri, he liked lowriders. He
Wow.
liked lowriders. He preferred that before we went up our driveway with our cars, don't scrape in my driveway. You better not leak oil. You should put hydraulics on those cars after you do that. Because those cars, I've seen them go up and down. They look pretty cool, right? And we said, what? But we're already ahead of that. We understood that. We didn't tell him nothing, me and my
That
brother.
that's
But
exactly it.
when you have a master mechanic, though, for a father, that's different because the design, the genius designs of Chevrolet, so to speak,
Right.
General Motors, to build a car to operate a certain way, whether it's comfort, dependability, and then you go and take a car like that, destroy it, not just putting small wheels on it, then brand new. And then just, to prove to your father, hey, you know what? But I'm sure your dad had to turn around and say, I got to take this out on somebody, whether it was you or whatever, but he had to feel a little
Yeah.
bit proud about him
And
because
and you
all
know,
dads were kids at
yeah.
one time, right?
And honestly, I mean, I'm sure he just kind of shook his head and said, "Wow, never thought he would see that." But you know, we started lifting cars, and my friends. I mean, I remember my dad coming home and there's four cars. We're charging all the batteries on them. He's like, "Hey, who's paying for that?"
Yeah.
It's back in the day. That's what we used to do when we were young. I mean, yeah, there was oil in the driveway. He used to hate that, and I still remember the one time my brother parked his car and he used to take care of his grass, and he laid out his car on the grass, and when he was getting ready to leave, you could see the whole exhaust imprint on the on the
On the
grass.
front yard. Poor
Yeah.
father.
Oh yeah, he heard it from my dad. That's for sure. But
Yeah, the things that we do to our parents, everybody out there. I mean, there's something we do, and they're strict. They're teaching us values, responsibilities as you grow up and you jump into the cars. And then they have to remember when they were young, or maybe like your dad, but being a mechanic
right,
about cars and all of that and the fun that they had. So they got to let a little bit of it slide, but to a point, right?
right. But you know what? At the end, I mean, I gotta thank my dad because without my dad, I probably wouldn't have got into the field.
What
You,
about your brother? Your dad laid down the law and your brother broke it.
my brother broke the law. My brother's,
Good old Gil.
he's the one that introduced me into lowriding. Him and my cousin, my primo Hector, they I remember going down the boulevard and I mean, shoot, I couldn't drive. I didn't have a driver's license. It's like maybe 13, 14 years old. And I saw couple of cars candied out, patterned out. I remember specifically, I look at it and I see a plaque and I said, wow, look at that's the Imperials. I see the Imperials cars. Then I see Lifestyle. I see these cars and to me, I mean, I said, someday I'm going to have one. And that's just a dream that everybody has when they're growing up.
But you grew up in the right area, right? Because there's always there's Brooklyn Avenue,
Right.
now Cesar Chavez,
Right.
and as you go south, there it becomes Beverly Boulevard.
Right.
Then there's Whittier Boulevard, and we're all a quarter mile away from each other. Then there's Whittier Boulevard. Then there's Olympic, and you can go into deep East LA all the way down the Long Beach Freeway, right?
Right.
And
Exactly.
that's kind of the area where you
yeah.
were at.
Yeah. I used
So-
to come up off Eastern onto Whittier Boulevard,
3 mile radius,
And-
right there in the
and
heart
right
of
there
all
and
of it.
then, I mean, that boulevard's packed. You got to remember, growing up in East LA, I mean, every car had pretty much 520s, spokes, Kragers. Uh, everybody had the ones that could afford it at the time. They had hydraulics,
Oh,
and
yeah.
that's just the way of life. That's just the way it was. Every corner, you didn't see you didn't see much sports cars or nothing like that. You seen just the big lowriders, the Impalas, the LTDs, the Thunderbirds. That's all I can remember.
Every
Myself,
other car was a low rider.
yeah, myself. I mean, I would always appreciate the workmanship on a bomb, but I'm not a bomb guy myself. Everybody knows me. I'm into traditional cars, and Impalas. That was it. That's it for me.
Did your brother continue to become a revolutionary with
Yeah,
your dad? How did your dad settle down all that?
well,
Your brother, I know, paints.
yeah, and
Knows
here's
all
the
about
crazy part,
paints.
and I'm gonna bring that up right now because, uh, back then, I mean, the candies were $1,500. That's a lot of money
Yeah.
back then in the 79s, 80s. So my
I
brothers,
remember 3,000.
yeah. So well, my brothers said, "Hey, you know what? I want to get some metal. I'm gonna start learning how to paint." I kind of laughed at him,
Mhm.
and he locked himself in the garage. He'd be playing music, and he had a little compressor he built, and pretty soon he started spraying candies, and before you knew it, he was like, "Hey, you want to candy out your ride?" I said, "No, man, I just want to go stock."
Was his cars already candy? Did he paint his
He
car
can
first? Did
he
use
painted
yours
his
as-
car. He painted his 69. He
Was he
bought
using yours as a guinea pig?
yeah,
just
he
to
wanted to
practice?
use mine as a guinea pig. And
Yes.
here's what happened. Here's what
Yeah.
happened, Joe. I told him, "Hey, I just want a stock color." I took over the 65. I wired it down. I didn't cut it, respecting my dad. And my brother, man, I remember he goes, "Oh, don't worry, I'm gonna paint it." Well, I come I come home and he goes, "Look in the garage. I shot your car." My roof was already painted brandy wine. I said, "That's not the color I wanted." So I made him sand it down, and he painted it a stock color, but didn't tell me he threw a pearl over it. So I'm like, I was so happy. I go, "Oh, the car looks great." I pulled it out to the sun, and it changed the whole color of the car. And
Oh,
I
the
just,
old pearls.
yeah, to a gold pearl,
Yeah.
the old Murano pearls. And my brother, he's always been like that. He's always just wanted. He loves custom painting, and we took it from there.
For everybody out there, the old pearls. I know this sounds like, fantasy, or like I'm on something, but you will walk up to a car that was baby blue and it had a certain color of pearl, and you can walk around that car, and as soon as you got to the back and looked at it, it turned pink.
That's correct.
Or went down the block, it would flip flop. But you would never just walk on like today and just see the pearl. You would never see the pearl until there was an angle and the sun hit it, and it would all come on. It would change the car. I mean, we're used to chameleons. It would do stuff like that.
That is right.
And that was the real pearls back then.
Right. So growing up, I saw, I get to see 77, 78, 79 Thunderbirds with paper plates, hydraulics, riding on true spokes. Some of them already were jumping into the true classic. And I said, "Wow, I like those cars."
There were true spoke. Then the true classics
Classic, and
came
then
out with a round hub.
And then we went to
And
True
then
Ray.
there was the True Ray.
Correct.
And straight lace.
Straight lace. That's what. At one point in the garage at home, we had the true spokes, the true classics, and the true rays. That's when you knew, like, wow, okay, we can change up to whatever we want to ride on. And I don't know how most of you did it out there, but we ourselves on Friday, we take off our wheels, clean up our wheels through the back, front. I mean, we just left those spokes immaculate before we went out cruising.
When did you decide to start car clubbing it? Did your brother start first before you?
Yeah, actually, my brother started in Techniques with his high school buddies,
Okay.
and
He also went to Garfield High School?
my brother also went to Garfield High School.
Okay.
He was a couple years older than me. So, but other than that, I mean, he laid the path down. I mean, he started. I started going with him a couple of times and cruising around, and he would go to Hollywood. They would go, the usual cruising places, and I just, man, you get the bug, man. You just
So, but the bug, you were infected by his bug, right? But I mean, Garfield techniques, you're following your brother. He's ahead of his time. And he's a
right,
bad dude right now, right?
right.
How come you didn't join techniques?
Because I've always just favored myself as trying to get into Imperials or lifestyle,
Yeah.
and I had a couple of buddies that had joined Imperials, and they said, "Come on down." So I ended up joining Imperials. I built a '64 Impala, and after a while, I built a '79 Thunderbird.
What time was this? What year? From what year to what year?
It was
Imperials.
probably early early '90, like '90.
Spanx was already gone.
Yeah, he was gone.
Yeah, he was off
Yeah.
doing good things out there.
And then for one
Now he
reason or another,
dresses a lot different.
I actually hung out there for about 7 years. I made car committee. I was an officer, and after after a while, then
Did you learn a lot from the Imperials because they were one of the upper echelon car clubs, so to
right,
speak,
right,
and they had their standards.
and I did, and I remember
You
even
had
as
to raise your quality, your level, responsibility, and job
right,
to be in that club.
exactly, that's right. There was, you know, I'm not to say, hey, across the board, there was a few clubs that stood out from the rest,
Yeah.
and like I mentioned, but here it is. I remember riding my Schwinn to Our Lady of Victory, where Imperials had their meetings, and I mean, wasn't old enough to drive, but I would look at Gypsy Rose, I would look at King Orchid, I would look at some of the rides they had there.
Did your brother have any problems with you joining another club besides his
No,
own?
no, he didn't. He
No?
didn't. He says, hey, you do.
Respected that?
Yeah, he respected that. He said, you do whatever you want to do.
But he didn't want to paint your car no
But
more?
yeah, had a hard time for him to candy out my cars or whatever. But at at the same time, he still did it for me. He was still my brother, you know. And we trade off.
Yeah.
He needed assembly, I came in. That's where I came in. I needed a paint job, I needed him. So we needed each other. We bounced off of each other.
How many cars did you go through at that time?
Well,
We're talking about the 65
yeah,
that you
at
inherited.
65, I took over
64
his
for the
his
Imperials.
'79 Monte Carlo,
Okay.
and then I ended up getting 64, '79 T-Bird, a '72 Monte Carlo. I've had 762s.
7?
Yes, sir. I had
Don't you wish you had them now?
yes, I really
All
do.
7 of them, right?
And I really
Have a mansion.
yes, and the one that really stands out, I wish I had the one I used all my NOS parts. New old stock, opened every package. I put everything from the grill to the rocker moldings to everything was NOS on that car.
And which
And
one's this one?
that was a '62 Impala Autumn Gold. And
Damn.
I wish I kind of never sold that car. But as you remember, the Japanese market started coming in and they were purchasing a lot of cars.
So let's go back in the days. Whittier Boulevard, East LA, restaurants. I talk about it all the time. You're growing up in those surroundings, in that atmosphere. It's all great. Lowrider magazine comes back into the picture,
Right.
more commercialized. Car shows are huge, and it has a new life, so to speak, almost a reincarnation, and it blows up sky high. But like roller coasters go,
Right.
it starts to have its little downfall. Then the rappers get out there and they're all driving 64s, 64s, and the music and the whole thing just kicks in like the Beatles, and everybody's into it. And these rides are out there, and everybody loves the songs. They love the clothing. They love the classic cars. Let's go. So the peak begins from there. And it kind of saved lowriding because it didn't come down from there. Then comes your Japanese market,
Right.
where the Japanese are sponges, and everything that we're doing all over the place with these cars, they love it and respect it as much as a Virgin Mary's on their arm. Okay, and they get into it. Now we're going to talk about what really, to me, I always say the mini truckers kind of saved low riding way back then for a little while until we came back up to our peaks. But The Japanese market, when they started buying cars, a wind wing, if you buy a car, Frank, for $100,000, a certain lowrider, whether it's a 62 rag, 59, I'm going to go back 20 years,
Oh yeah.
right? Everybody gets, they get into it and figure it out, do the math or the arithmetic and figure that if that's $100,000, then what does the wind wing cost? What does this mirror cost? What does that grill cost? And when you do the math at the end of the day, it doesn't take you long to say, wow, this is $100,000. And all these entrepreneurs get together, open up shops from hydraulics to putting cars together, accessories, the whole thing. And now everybody's making market in this.
Right.
And that's what got it going. Now it's an investment, so to speak. Mecum, Barrett-Jackson cars are being built left and right, just like the Southside cars. They are being built. There's now a value to lowriders. Like before, man, if you bought a $16,000 Lincoln Continental, painted it orange, no one wants that. If you're going to sell that car and you have hydraulics on it, you're lucky to get $8,000 for that lowrider, and somebody has to love that orange. Until then the market, there was a price tag on everything from weather stripping to the moldings on a quarter panel. Everything is just itemized now. So the money goes up. It's a business. And people are driving around. Now it's status quo, Frank. Look what I'm driving, a Rolls Royce.
Yeah.
61 bubble top now. And it's worth this, it's worth that. And no matter if everybody just started buying these cars and then selling them, the whole business, how it really became commercialized then. It opened up shops across the country.
But
and that kept us alive, man.
It did expand. It did expand when Lowrider was coming down. They started popping back up because that's what the Japanese wanted to buy at the time. They wanted to buy lowriders. And I'm proven fact. I built a lot of 62, 63, 64s to sell to them. That they were actually fronting the money to purchase a car to get it done. So it became a business. Even though I worked, I had my 9 to 5.
So worked at Michelin, right?
I worked at Michelin Tires, and the side money, I'm building cars that people said before that they wouldn't probably be worth much. They started coming up in price, and you would just look at if you went to the dock and saw the export, you would see hundreds of Impalas just leaving. You know, and
so the tow truck business,
yeah, the tow truck business, and
most of them were just going down to Long Beach,
everybody was doing good. Everybody was doing great. You know,
Pomona swap meets.
Oh yes, sir.
It turned into a car show.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Give me an offer I can't refuse, right? Or else it's a car show all day here. I ain't selling it. Right. But it kept low riding alive. But all through your whole life, through your brother and your dad being a mechanic, you've always put cars together. You started, if I have a friend that knows how to put cars together, has more patience than me, I hope he can come over and help me. A couple beers, carne asada, right?
Right.
So you did a lot of that your whole life because you guys are good guys. I know you've done that for me quite a few times, but all that experience and know-how, you finally started getting paid for it.
Correct.
So from all your other jobs, then you joined because you have the hat and the shirt here. Did Bert send you down with that? That's a brand new one too. It's iron.
Yes, sir.
The Chevy shop.
That's definitely a place I enjoy working for. Like, where else can you go and you're going to do a frame off on a car? Every nut and bolt is changed. Not only that, some of the NOS parts, new old stock, we get to open the box. Brand new. No one's touched that box since 1964. You're going to open up and put that electronic eye on that car. There's nothing more for me than to open up that box, see the actual instructions.
Never been virgin box.
Yes.
Right? 65 years old almost.
Yes. Open up the instructions. You get to see the actual instructions, the hardware, everything's inside that box.
You go back in a time.
You might as well
time
be
machine.
working at the dealership because that's
Yeah,
what's
yeah, yeah,
exactly
yeah,
what
yeah.
they were doing. And that's one of my dreams I've always wanted to do was build cars that, from a dealership. But I never knew in my life that I was going to be building cars from, you know, 55 through 64 using NOS parts.
But when you go back in your life, that wasn't. We all think that wasn't too far. Go NOS parts. I mean, come on, go down to Camino Real Chevrolet. I need this molding, or I need that. I dented or scratched it, or
Back
my
then-
girlfriend got it and bent it, right? And then you go back, and it is a long time, and now you get to go back and revisit your youth, so to speak, and open up something like that.
Exactly.
Museum artifacts.
And
so
it,
to
and it's
speak.
just and it's so getting so much harder to pick up NOS parts. I mean, you can go to eBay, you can go try different places, swap meets, and it's getting scarce out there. But here it is. I mean, where I'm working right now, I'm happy because we have parts in stock that are NOS or redone. It's just amazing the quality of the cars that we're putting out.
Let's talk Chevrolet Bel Air. Let's talk Impalas, Frank.
Okay.
Here's the nitty. Here we go. This is now the show begins. 56, 55s are bad. 56, the 57, the 58, 59. Everybody's raising their hands out there because this is your favorite car. 59's looks like an airplane with the wings. How dare you get something like that? It doesn't work, but they became a favorite. The 58 has always been the favorite. The 60, 61, the bubble tops. The 62, classy little sports car, especially rags. The rags came in the picture with all of these, and the value just goes up, 30, 40,000 more if it's a rag.
Right. That
And you can only go up to 64, which the 65 is beautiful. You had one with a
Yes, sir.
fastback, the first
Fastback, yeah.
fastback that Chevrolet came out with. But let's just go from 64 if you want to 55. I know 56 are more popular on all the way up. 64 Impala is the lowrider favorite, but then I think the 59 took over because there's a lot of, I don't know where they came from, but there's a lot of them out there, and you can build probably 5 64s to a 59 rag.
correct. And
That's just crazy.
And if you
Well,
all
there are
rem-
more 64s built than the
yeah,
59s.
and if you remember, like 58 used to be the top dog because that was the first Impala, and it's a one-off frame.
But they're all one-offs.
Yeah,
55, 56 are almost the same. 57 is a totally different body. When we go into 58, that's another one-off body.
right.
59 and 60, similarities.
Similarity.
61, here you come. 61, they changed it over again. Usually cars used to just change the grill and the taillights. And the
Exactly.
colors and the cloth interior, right?
Right.
You get into 61 and then you introduce the 62. There ain't nothing wrong with that. And they
Right.
go to a 63. And then they square it off with a 64. You can never ever do that today with the automobiles the way they're built, where you're going to just change a complete design. And these cars, most of these cars, before they came out in clay or designed, they were already there. I think they were probably building the 61, and they already had the 64 Impala already designed that they were
Probably
going to
did.
make.
And you got to remember, all like when they changed, they did all the tooling.
In all your history, well, you learned a lot now.
Right.
Why did they? I could have seen the 62 changing the headlights and the taillights for about 2-3 years, and then okay, now you move on up, right?
No,
Like Buick Riviera 63, 64, 65 was the same car, except for they moved around the lights and all.
right.
And other cars, the Pontiac, Cadillacs, but why? And they were affordable. My question to you, and I don't know, and for everybody out there, when you change a car one off year after year after year, is it sales? They're not selling, it's changing? Or I know they were already building them.
It's just the engineers. They wanted to keep moving it forward.
I have a better design than you do. Let me have my turn, right?
Exactly.
Next year?
That type of deal.
Wow.
But as far as it's like I've said, right now, one of the highest cars in the market is a 59 Cat Eyes.
So 59 was, well, 58's always been. Then
58's
59
always
took over.
been up there, but 59 surpassed
59
the
took
58
over.
now.
61's got very, very popular, right?
61 has really came up.
The 62's kind of got up there.
Kind of
But
got up, but the 62 quite hasn't caught up to a
no.
61.
Okay, and then all of a sudden everybody's in the 57s.
Yes. But you got to remember in 57s, Joe, nowadays, you can go buy the body. You can buy a convertible or a hardtop body, remanufactured, and start
Repop.
from there.
A
You can
repop.
build yourself
The
one.
fenders, quarters, everything.
Everything.
Like the 68 Camaro, you can go out there and buy a
Correct.
brand new one.
Same deal.
But does that make a difference in value?
Well, it does if you're gonna go for the.
Are you
full
going to tell somebody
retail.
I got a repop? Are repops out there today? Like if I was going to replace a quarter panel, I go and find one in a junkyard, right? And hopefully it's all safe. But now you could go out there and buy them. They're
Yeah,
all.
you have to buy.
Is the gauge of the metal all there? Do they fit?
They fit, but everything. It's like everything. All repop stuff needs work. You can't just gonna bolt right on
Same
it
gauge of
and
metal.
move on.
Same gauge of metal.
Yes,
They just don't fit exactly.
they don't fit exactly.
Damn.
So, I've
The
seen it.
hoods. What about the hoods and the trunks?
The hoods. They still need tweaking. It's not like
What is
you
the
can-
alignment? You have to cut down the metal,
Right,
or
you would have to shim here, shim there to try to compensate. But what happens is you know, all these parts you can't go to junkyards no more like we used to, and
they're not there no more.
they're not there no more. And people that are really selling like original parts, they know the value. So obviously your price is going to be a lot more.
I hear, and this is a way back, when dealerships close, and the owner of that said dealership has all these old EM parts way in the back. He's had them there for a long time. No one ever bought them. They didn't need them. Well, especially if it's snowing and these cars are rotting out there in the field, you're stuck with all these parts. And then when they decide, you know what, let's just dump everything and all these parts, it's a gold mine, and they come out, they still get a good amount of money for them, but just to grab them. And when you get parts like that, like at your place,
Right.
do you really want to sell them? Because if you hang on to them for another 10 years, they're going to be 10 times the money.
Well,
Why would you sell it so somebody can go and put it on their car?
yeah. Well, it all depends. We kind of like keep a lot of that in stock for when we're building cars for other people there. As far as like when we're doing a restoration, makes our life a lot easier when you have the parts in inventory.
Acquiring that job, because you worked on all kinds of cars.
Yes, sir.
Lincolns, Rivieras, Impalas, all your friends, your car club, all of that through all your whole history that you've done. And you've always kept an eye on what your brother's doing because he's still ahead of his time, right?
Right.
The experience you have in your job now, Barrett-Jackson, Meekum, the value of the cars. When you talk about a 58 Chevy, the more popular car that everybody likes, the value of the car is going to go sky high. You're talking about $350,000.
Yes, sir.
That's crazy. But then when you really look at them and how they're built, anything you take out, when you drop a frame, it never goes back on the same. You always have leftover screws. I got lots of them.
Right.
But where you're at and how you do things separates you from a lot of guys out there. 'Cause I know a lot of people that work on cars,
Right.
including myself, but you're going to cut corners out there sometimes, and you're not going to put them on right. Like I remember one time with Mike Lopez and working at his shop one time and how he was putting on moldings. And he just said, when you put on a chrome strip on a quarter panel, you have to be careful that you don't over tighten that
is
screw and that
correct.
nut, because you pull in the chrome strip and then you could see the whole chrome strip go down. If you wanted to surf down on that chrome strip, you could, because everything was just put on there too tight.
And that's where it breaks down to the experience. It's experience. That's one of the main things you're paying for. We've done it. It's trial and error, like you said, when it's growing up. Now, we're so meticulous there of what gets done that the cars are, man, they're bare at auction, or Make them auction.
To put on a fender molding, if you could get your hand in there, or your little brother or somebody that's skinny to fit in there and at least get 2 or 3 nuts to hold on a molding, you're good to go, man. I got to go to the boulevard. That it's not going to come off, right?
Yeah.
No, you guys will actually pull the fender off
Fenders are off.
and put it on the right way.
Like
you sleep
the
good at
factory
night, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
And that's the way it's got to be done.
Yeah, exactly. Even when we do the dash wiring, everything's kind of like factory specs.
And when you have a name behind how you build cars, people take it, well, they may take it for granted, but when they go and buy a car, like I met somebody in Dallas, Texas, and he had a 64 Chevrolet, and it was immaculate. And even Mike was there at that show. I go, Mike, did you go see that 64? It was like a silver blue.
Right.
He goes, yeah, I saw it. He goes, oh man, that's immaculate. It looked like brand underneath, firewall, everything, all the way through the interior. I don't remember if it was a rag or a hard top. And I talked to the guy. He didn't want to tell me how much he bought it for.
Yeah, but it was a convertible.
Yeah. And I asked him, not to embarrass myself or him, 75 to compliment. He goes, oh no, Joe. Really? And he wasn't even from the Dallas area. And then I go, is it over 80? He goes, oh yeah, a little more than that. And I go, was it convertible?
Yes, it was.
It was a disgusting amount of money. But when you go around it 4 or 5 times, because you have to see it, everything was done pristine. It was just perfect. And it was all done just right. When you get a name behind that and you ask for something, you take it for granted that it was built that way. Everything from the underneath, inside, the bottom, the top, that's how they're built. And they're supposed to be built like that. That's why you get 120 at that time. This is a few years ago.
Yes.
But it was a 64, but that's why you get 350 for
the prices
59.
are up there, but it's all due to the quality of the work, the workmanship. You can see it. You might not think, wow, that's 300,000, but here's a shop that take your car and it actually gets done.
And then you see them like I witnessed a 58 one time. It was a rag, and I was told right there when I saw it, wow, it looked immaculate. The color, the whole thing, and then I was told how much it was worth. It had an LS in it. It looked like it had the 348 they come with, right?
Right.
But it was built, like there were custom parts on it to make it look original, but it was really had an LS Corvette motor in it.
And a lot of people are turning to that. They want the LS. I want the Dakota Digital. I want vintage air. So that's all stuff that you got to remember. We only have a certain amount under the dash, but we managed to put it all in.
Like everybody out there owns pretty much a brand new Corvette today. I mean, that's not the shape of a car all of us sort of like. I've always liked the older ones, but you would like to take a 1958 or 59 or a 57, take that body off of that Corvette and drop that thing on that bed. No, you're not going to go 120 miles, but it's today. You're living in yesterday's, but I mean, turnkey, the driveline and everything is today, and you get to take that thing anywhere. Though you're not going nowhere in a car that's worth $350, so to speak.
And that's right.
I don't even know if you could get insurance for that. Can you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's places insured.
They'll insure it for that amount because they see what's behind it.
Yeah.
The wheel wells, everything underneath. Everything has to be exactly OEM factory
for
some guys.
Right.
And you go through all of that, the certain color that you have to paint the belly, the certain color that the frame has to be done.
You
go by all of that there at your place.
Everything's to specs to make it look like it just rolled off the assembly line.
And the top #1 car now, again, is the 59?
The 59 right now.
I thought the 57 took over for a little while there.
It fluctuates. But the 59 is on top right now.
Are there a lot of them still out there?
I mean, they are, but to have a 59 that's top notch, it's getting harder and harder to find. And I mean a car that's done.
What is an Arizona car and a California car? There's no rust in them because of the weather.
Correct.
Right? Those cars are all gone, and especially if you're a lowrider guy. we destroy them. If there's only 3 bolts, 3 screws holding this fender, we lift them. Now we hop them. We destroy these cars. So there's not too many of them left. If they're out there, we're going to get them. We own all the 57s, all the 59s, all the 58s.
That is correct.
And the bad thing about it is there's hardly any more left. You could go back east and find them. They're in barns out there. They're out there in the field in ice about this high. So you get them all rotted out, and everybody's fixing them like back in the days, throwing Bondo and cover up, and tacking a floor. Do you guys tack a floor completely all the way around?
No, you have to completely seal it.
Completely seal.
Correct. Yeah.
Nothing can get
Replace
in.
the floor,
Put water in it. No water leaks out.
Exactly.
You have
That's the correct way. Not only that, a lot of cars like that. Say a barn find from '59, you bring it back, East Coast car. You got to replace the floor, trunk panels, quarter panels, rockers, and then the guy decides he still wants to make a lowrider out of it. So then from there, he's going to go, well, you know what? I want a reinforced frame because I'm going to have a custom setup. And we still build the car like we're building it original.
Yeah.
But with a twist. He's going to want the hydrals. He's going to want the wrap frame. He's going to want that LS. So these cars, the price is still up there.
How long does it take to build a car like that?
I think the fastest car that I've seen built was we built a 62 convertible. Went through body, everything. 9 months. You know, you got to
frame off.
Frame off. Now, 9 months, you're looking at, wow, that's 9 months. It's a pregnancy. No. When you're doing every nut and bolt and you're doing the whole car correct.
Especially paint, body work, metal work,
sir.
Body work, let it dry, let it cure.
Right.
Paint it the color you want.
Yes.
Does everybody really go after the OEM color charts, or do they
some guys do,
or get something close with
other
new
people
paint?
Want something close. They want to tweak it a little bit to have that custom. They want to go ahead and they know they're going to wire that car down. They want a little different.
Damn.
So,
and that's what makes us today.
Yes, sir.
So you've seen, so we could go back into the days when your dad was trying to teach your brother a lesson.
Right.
And then your brother was teaching you a lesson.
Yes.
The different, the cars, just the way it was back then. But we always talk about that in this show. But joining the Imperials had to be a big education for you.
It was. It was.
But to get to where you're at now, where you're building pristine cars, I mean, Barrett-Jackson cars, I'll say it right now, there are quite a few of them that are lowriders now, just not, and no disrespect, Southside, ridiculous what they put into their cars. And they have a whole lot to do with lowriding being alive today, the way they build these cars, because there are customers out there that respect that and want that car and will pay anything to get a car like that.
Right. That's exactly.
And when you see any of these auctions, you're just saying they paid that much for that. I know a couple of lowriders, they're worth more. I only see, and I complain right now about paint jail, all that stuff. The chrome, it doesn't last. $30,000 interiors, which is really nothing. When I complain about what paint jobs cost and what interiors cost, hell, that's half of a car right there. And where they're getting $350, that's probably cheap, Frank, is it now?
Well, it is. And here's the thing you got to look at, Joe. If you purchase a car for $350, let's just say you purchase a car that's just done.
Yeah.
You're not gonna wait the year and a half, 2 years maybe that it took to do that car. There's
10
people
years.
that want the car now.
Yeah, now. Yeah. So they'll pay anything.
That's one of the
after they hear stories that we all go through.
Right, exactly. So you got to look at that point of view where, hey, we'd have people wait and get their car done, turn around, somebody offers them good money, they sell it, then they come back with another car. Now, well, guess what? Now you're on a waiting list. Now you gotta wait a couple of years to even get that car done.
If we take 55 to 64 and I wanted to build a car like that, eBay, offer up maybe, OEM parts, you're gonna pay your ass off, but they're out there, huh?
There's To some extent, they're still out there, and you're right. You're gonna pay. You'll see the price of a reproduction molding versus an NOS molding. It's a big difference. We're talking. You can pick up a molding here for $100, while you're gonna pay for NOS. You're gonna pay $400, $500. So it's all depending on what you find and what you want,
How much money you have.
and how much money, how deep your pockets are.
That's crazy. But that, like I just said right now, that's what keeps us alive. That's probably going to keep us alive in the future. I only see these cars doubling in about 5 years. I don't know why, but I mean, look at the money that's being spent out there right now. And I'm one of those guys that are just saying, you can't afford to build lowriding. Where's it going to go from here? We can't afford it to keep it going, to keep it alive, right? Our lifeline.
But we
And
find the
the
means.
value of them are going, wow, 350 for what?
We find a means somehow to. I still want to get that car I've always wanted, and you get it. You go for it.
It's like buying an old TV, black
Right.
and white TV, and you can go
Right.
back and relive all of that.
And even back then, that's what I'm
Push
saying.
button start.
If you go back then to my childhood when I was growing up, that's why my brother learned to paint. We couldn't afford it. I had to learn how to assemble cars and stuff. We couldn't pay somebody else to go do that work.
Do you guys, what are the Japanese doing out there right now?
Right?
I know that they're buying cars here now and they don't trust how they're being worked on first. So they take them home and they rebuild them there. Are they buying cars like that now
They're
that you can hear now it's 350?
They're not buying cars like they used to.
Yeah.
I mean, they still will purchase a car here and there, but they're onto the NOS parts. So they'll purchase NOS parts, the parts that are hard to get, and they're actually building the cars back home. They got so advanced on all the cars that they do their own.
I know when COVID came along, everything went up 5 times the amount it used to be. And those prices haven't come down, so to speak. Do you see a lot of guys out there purchasing these parts and they're out there, but they don't want to sell them? It's like going to the bank,
Yes.
stocks and bonds, buying them. I'm not going to touch it. I'll put it way underneath my bed. One day this is going to be worth this. I'm going to pay my kids' college. Is there a lot of that
Well,
going on out
there is
There are a lot
some of that
people like
going on.
Yeah.
And as far as you got to remember, there's a lot of people reproducing parts that weren't even reproduced before. And now it just makes that market so much harder. But there'll always be that purist. There'll always be that guy that says, no, I want NOS parts on my car. I don't want to build it with reproduction. And that's what keeps that value up.
Can you tell NOS from repop?
Sometimes you can on the
Yeah.
fitment. Fitment is everything.
Yeah, that's what. But then again, you have to put the trust in God, the trust into the shop that you're buying that vehicle or having that vehicle built at. Are they totally professional, quality, craftsmanship, experienced? Man, you can go back. You can go back in time with these relics, right?
Right.
Do you enjoy the job you do now? Because now you get paid for it. It's not a carne asada and a couple beers. Frank, help me put my car together. And you're still working on that same molding. Damn, how about my doors? I've seen you put door handles on a car and it took you the whole day and I'm pissed off, right? But you have to do it. You have to appreciate and love and have a major passion
Right.
for what you do and respect the automobile that's now 65 years old, because that art that they created, they don't do that no more.
It's like I said, you got to have your hands, your eyes, but most of all, you got to have that passion. You got to have it inside. I mean, that's what gives that quality work. You want to look back and say, well, I built that car. Look for flaws. Let me know what you find.
What's the most expensive car to build now? If I wanted to build a car for everybody out there right now, if you guys are all thinking, what car should I build? I like the 62, but if it's cheaper, I'd rather build that. The 59 is what I really want, but one day we'll see. That's my dream car.
Correct.
What is your advice to everybody out there on purchasing a car? If I'm going to go buy this one, save a little bit more money, wait another year, and buy this one.
Well, here's the thing: when you're purchasing a car, and especially a lot of people do it. Oh, I found a convertible for 25,000. Hey, great. Yeah, but you're missing all the pinch weld moldings. You're missing the header. You're missing all the good parts.
What are pinch weld molds?
Pin wash moldings is the one that where your snap ring goes, where your boot goes. The expensive parts. There's expensive parts to every convertible. Let's just say. So you pick up a car and you say, "Oh, I got a good deal. Bought it for 25. Hey, now I just need to replace the rockers, the trunk, the floor, and then pick up all those moldings." Well, you're better off investing or saving your money. Pick up something for 50,000 and that has at least the parts on it.
Oh,
Do you
yeah.
understand?
Oh, I understand that if you're going to go buy something for 25 and then
Yeah.
to make it look representable, you're going to stick in another 25
yes.
when you could have just blew 2 years and you could have had it now if you would have just paid the 50.
Correct.
You have to find survivors out there. Of course, you can't find survivors.
Right.
If you do, now we're talking about you're going to buy a survivor for 75, 80,000, right?
Right.
If
Well,
it's 57, 58,
let's just
59.
go a good example. You'll find a 59 that needs total restoration, and you're going to pay the 130, 140 for it to start. So that's why if you look at the car, once it's a done car, turnkey, then that's why the prices are so high. You're like, oh, okay, that's understandable.
Beautiful design with those cars, classics. Just to take them apart could take you 3 days. Well, it would take you about a month to take a car completely apart with all those chrome strips, the grill, everything about it. And then you got to take it to a chrome shop. Not all of us can afford a one-stop shop, but you take it to a chrome shop and they lose your parts, and somebody else is building the same car, has your parts now. What is your, and that happens day and night. We've all gone through those nightmares.
Right.
What's your thing if I'm building a 62 convertible, say I am,
Right.
how would you go about it? Do you polish the stainless steel or you go all the way and just chrome it? I can't afford the chrome. I think it's $12,000 to $15,000
Right,
to do the rack and all. But if I polish everything out, it's stainless.
Okay.
Like $3,000-4,000 and I'm out of
Right.
here.
And if you polish it, and if you get quality polishing, it'll look like chrome on your car.
Yeah, for a week.
Not only that, word of advice: when you're assembling a car that has just regular stainless polish, a lot easier than having one that has chrome moldings, where we gotta make them fit. It's not for everyone.
You have to make them fit. You have to open them
Yeah,
up
you
so
gotta
they can
grind them,
slide
you gotta-
in, depending on how thick the
Exactly.
paint job is. And as soon as you just chip with a little edge and that whole thing just peels. And you
Peels.
got to start all over again.
Yes, sir.
Or you wait 2 months and then it starts to tarnish.
Right.
But there's nothing like it. But today, in today's chrome, when you chrome all your chrome strip, in today's chrome, you have to, and they don't have diapers anymore for babies, but you need the softest of towels. You have to make sure the products you use are not abrasive, because your car cover can scratch your chrome strips
That's
and your
correct.
moldings.
That is correct.
And there you are again in 2 years, and you're right back at again, rechroming, redoing this, and pulling them all back off and putting them back on. When you attack a car, say you attack a car fully painted, everything's painted, jams, doors taken off, the whole thing, and it's just like, okay, now it's your turn.
Right.
You put your gloves on, now you got to put that car together. You go at it, I go at it, looking at it, damn, this thing's ugly. I got to get a bunch of stuff. I don't care if I put tape on the chrome strip, the whole,
And you
I'm going
have
to put that thing together, grab a beer, listen to Led Zeppelin, and then, damn, this thing's bad. There's my inspiration. I'm going to keep on going.
Right.
A lot of us are like that. You're not. You attack it with patience
Right.
and appreciation and experience. I'd have to kill you. You're putting my car together. And I have to
Well,
wait. I might
and
as
I-
well just go to jail,
and-
handcuff me, gag me, damn it.
And I understand, but for me, it's a different ball game, man. I want to make sure that comes out like the factory did it. I want that look. I want you to look at your dash and everything lights up, and you're like, hey, everything works.
Dakota Digital lights up, works. Everything's
Correct.
plug and play now. with all
If we
of
go
that.
Dakota
Do you
Digital,
guys like building that stuff better? Is it better, or if I want to just OG? I want everything old. They're gonna break down eventually.
myself, I like doing the all original. But now, I mean, now at times people want that Dakota Digital, they want that LS, they want the vintage air. The only thing I could do with vintage air is send my ducts right through the original looking vents. That's the only thing I can do that keeps that originality on the dash. Because vintage air usually comes with their own plastic that goes underneath the dash. Well, that's not really gonna make it look like it should, like if that car was original.
Your dad's not around no more to hear all of this, right?
No, sir.
Did he get enough to see that his other son was a rebel, painting candies, destroying cars? Because that's the way that guy's always been. With all respect, I love Gil. You're a little bit different. You're just going to slow down and go down that hill, so to speak, with all those stories we used to talk about the bull or whatever up there on the top of the hill coming down. That's who you are. Did your dad at least get a chance to see you like that and just say,
Yes, he did.
I got I got a little bit of me, the rebellious guy over there, but you're a lot like him. Did he appreciate you? And
Yeah, my
your
dad.
before
My
he
dad
left
was
just
proud. He was proud. Even he was proud of my brother.
Yeah,
Of his accomplishments. He did some pretty badass candies
radical.
and
Your
paint jobs.
brother's a
Right.
radical.
Yeah, exactly. Totally opposite of
Extremist,
me.
yes.
And what it is like my dad. Yeah, I mean, he never took cars frame off or nothing to that extreme. But yeah, did we do suspensions? Did we do motors? Dozens of them, you know. But he appreciates the workmanship.
Can you rebuild a motor?
Yeah.
You could buff out cars, color sand them, and buff them out.
And it's funny
You
you
could
say
pretty much take a car completely from A to Z, a million parts, and you can put that whole thing together.
I could do it all.
If you get paid, though.
Yes, sir.
It's not good to come around all your friends, because they steal what you do and what you get paid for.
But you
And
know
they
what?
come out with Donahoe's chicken and Pomona.
You know, but but you know what?
People like that. And they'll
But I-
hear it.
it's
This
just-
is what I'm doing for
To
you.
me, working on a car, building a car is my therapy, Joe.
Yeah. Oh, it is.
That's my therapy, man.
But you get paid for it.
yeah. That now, but you know, I go do something for you.
Oh, you'll do anything for
Well,
anybody.
it don't
But
matter.
that's why you're on this show, because, you're in Lifestyle Car Club now.
Right.
And half of the members will always say, when anything comes up to anything about you or your brother, they're good guys, man. You know, one will give them the shirt off your back. And they always say, then there's another phrase about that, joking around, but
Right.
you guys have always been like, you'll help anybody out there. And that's why you're probably blessed to still be playing with toys to this day. Influences, when we talk about influences, of course, it's going to be your dad.
My dad.
Costumbres de Mexico, you were brought up the right way, the strict way.
Right.
You have to say that, the value, the good heart that you have. And then your brother, are there any other influences
brother-
for you out there?
And I got to give it to my primo, because my primo was 2 years older than my brother, but we got to cruise around, and he was the first car I got to see actually installing the hydraulics on it. From back then, when I said pallies, that's when I never had seen cylinders like that and stuff like that. But I got to give it to him. He might not know, but he had a big influence on me.
You have a son. Does he follow your footsteps?
My son, he's more into sounds. He likes putting sounds on and things of that nature.
That's
So,
good.
but you know, hey, he knows about the low riding, and you know, he knows he's gonna probably end up with my T-Bird anyway.
And you drive a Thunderbird. Through all the whole show's about Impalas. And you drive a Thunderbird.
That's
but it's a
correct.
town Landau, though.
Yeah,
Red
but
Flake,
here,
Big Ed.
yes, Candy, Big Flake, T-top car. Here's the thing. I've always looking at traditional cars. And I remember growing up, Joe, I seen these T-Birds paper plated driving around.
That stupid guys would lift them brand new.
Brand
That's
new
what
paper plates.
I know guys that said,
I
let's go
know
look at
from
this
Lifestyle,
stupid
so
white
don't go
dude.
there.
They
Don't
just
go
lifted his, yeah, look at them. They'd go by,
Right.
laugh, and they joined the club 2 weeks later.
Right. And I remember that. And to me, that's why I said I like traditionals. I like Ford LTDs. They're like, hey, but you build Impalas and stuff. Yeah. But you know what? I also built Caddies. I built Monte Carlos. I built,
Grand Prix. I mean,
Yeah.
whatever looks good laying down
Whatever
on the
there's
floor.
good lane. He's
Yeah.
correct.
There's just some of them out there that are just a little bit more expensive. And these cars were the family affordable cars. Beautiful style, but now they've become auction cars. And that keeps us alive.
Right.
A lot of guys are out there buying these cars, putting them together, and the money they get offered, you know, they got to let them go and build another one.
Even now, right now,
Take us to another level.
as we speak, my brother, I'm helping him build a 78 LTD.
Yeah.
Right. I just purchased a 73 LTD Brougham. And you're like, wait a minute, we're not an Impala. Well, you know, I'm going to work on another 62. I had 7 of them. 62 is my favorite year. But I am going to build another one.
The LTDs were Bromes, the 73, 74s, right?
Correct.
And then they became the Landaus after too. Caprices too.
Yeah.
The Brohams.
Yeah.
Frank, anybody else you want to give shout outs to? How does anybody get a hold of you if they got a carne asada going and they want you to help them put their car together, rub it out? Hydraulics, you know hydraulics too.
Hydraulics, airbags.
You don't
Stay away
really,
from airbags.
you work at a shop 40 hours a week or maybe more putting these gems together, right?
Right.
On the weekends, you're in a car club, you enjoy yourself, or you go to the movies, to the show, or whatever you got to do, right, to get
Correct.
away from it. But you really don't, because all your friends, you're a good Samaritan out there, you're going to go and help them. So it's 8 days a week.
And in my club, there's always someone
48
that
hours.
needs help. That's correct.
Yeah.
And I do it.
But somebody needs to help you. But you love,
I love it.
it could be said you just want to see how it looks and how it can be completed. The
Correct.
beginning to the end.
That's my whole ending, to see that car done.
Well, there you go, everybody. From the beginning of our story, you heard it out. We got to recap everything, and here comes the ending to this story. Frank, like I say all the time, we got to bring all of our guests back on again. I thought this was a good show. I mean, check your wallet, everybody out there. See what you've got. Save before. This is all I can afford at this time. It's an investment. It's like stock and bonds. You just never know. I mean, what we just talked about today, $350, I could buy a house. I could live out there by Russell in Carolina, and I can get me a mansion for about $350, right?
Right.
These cars are going to double within time, because there's not that many. Lowriding is not going away. It's growing. It's growing in value. So they are an investment. Yeah, it takes too much time to get them back, but that's part of the investment. But that's why it's hard to say how long is it going to go. I mean, as long as there's money out there, people will find a way to afford it. So pick your poison. 56, 57, 58. There's got to be a 59, 60, 61. Hey, 66 Rivieras, but then that's eBay.
Right. But for me, let's just keep building.
That's right.
That's it.
Frank, the Wired Down Show. And that's what's most important. All the cars we talked about today, they have no value unless they are wired down. Catch you guys on the next episode. Hope you enjoyed this one. Thanks once again for the support and being with us. Frank Melendez, the Chevy Shop, the Imperials Lifestyle.
Thank you for having me on.
LA, the whole thing. There you go. Thank you.